Okay, today we're going to talk about weights and measures because not everybody knows. And just because you're doing it doesn't mean you're doing it right. So this sheet of paper is the J2807 compliant towing chart. Now, a disclaimer is that this is a guide. All of these trucks are set up differently. There's so many different variations that you can get these trucks that it's up to you to make sure that you have the right numbers and the right calculations. There are so many videos out there and they just confuse the issue. And it's really not that difficult to understand. This is another disclaimer, is that this is for the Ram trucks because that's the truck that I got. I don't know how the Ford does their number. I don't know how Chevy, I don't know how GMC. I can tell you they're all close, but it's your responsibility to make sure that you're doing it right. So let's cut away real quick, and we're going to do a cutaway of this chart so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is for the 2018 Ram 3500, and that's the truck that I bought. And you'll see that I've highlighted where it says crew cab long box 4x4 dual rear wheel. That's what this truck is. It's a 6.7 Cummins diesel with the 68 RFE, and it's got the 410 axle ratio. Gross vehicle weight rating is 14,000 pounds. The payload is 5,830. Now, we're going to take a break from that because inside the yellow, I'm going to put up a picture here of the yellow sticker inside the truck, and you'll see that it's actually 5,704 pounds. That goes back to that disclaimer that I was saying, that this is a guide because there's so many different variations to these trucks. Okay, so then you've got the base weight of 8,167 for total. You've got 4,855 in the front, 3,313 in the rear. You've got a front axle weight rating of 6,000 pounds, a rear axle weight rating of 9,750 pounds, gross combined weight rating of 30,300 pounds, and a max trailer weight rating of 21,660 pounds. Now, in my last video, I said that it had a tow rating of about 25,000 pounds, so I stand corrected there. And again, this is just a general guide. So here's what I want to point out. I want to point out the differences between the high output, which means the Aisin rear end, and the 68 RFE, which is not the high output engine. And if you look at all the way down on the last line, go back to the chart again, it shows, with the 410 rear end, you still have a gross vehicle weight rating of 14,000 pounds. Now your payload has dropped. In the chart, it's dropped from 5,830 pounds down to 5,690 pounds. And if you look at your all the way over to the right, you'll see that your gross combined weight rating is 39,100. And that your max trailer towing is 30,320. If you look at those numbers, now let's just go with what's here in the chart, okay? Because my truck's a little different, and I'll go over that with you here in just a minute. But if you look at the chart, so you actually do have a higher towing capacity because the Aisin with the high output Cummins actually provides more torque. Okay, so yes, you have a higher tow rating, but if you look, your payload capacity actually goes down. Why? Because the high output diesel and the Aisin are heavier, so that's adding more weight to the truck, therefore reducing your payload capacity. Now let's disregard the trailers altogether. In fact, I'm going to put the chart away. Let's disregard the trailer altogether and let's look at the truck. This truck has a 14,000 pound gross vehicle weight rating. That means that is the maximum weight that I can put in this truck, altogether in this truck, okay, is 14,000 pounds. Anything over that, I am not safe. It's not safe. The vehicle's not rated for that. Again, let's take the trailer out of the equation. So what does that tell you? That tells you that if you look on the inside of the sticker on this door, you'll see it's got a free payload of 5,704 pounds. Now what that means is that I can put up to 5,704 pounds in the truck. That includes, so let's look at this from a different perspective. You put me, you put my wife, you put a full tank of fuel, you put a trailer hitch, a toolbox, anything that you're going to put in the truck, okay? That's adding to the curb weight. So what you do is you take your gross vehicle weight rating and you subtract this number that's on the door. That tells you the curb weight of the truck, of the vehicle. That means it's the weight of the vehicle with nothing in it, just as it rolled off the assembly line. Okay, so this 5,704 pounds means that if I put myself, my wife, like I said, a tank of fuel, a hitch, all the goodies, that adds up to about 1,000 pounds. Okay, so now instead of having 5,704 pounds of payload capacity, I now have 4,704 pounds of payload capacity. Okay, because anything you put in the truck is reducing that payload capacity. Now, let's throw a trailer back in the equation. I've been looking at trailers. The trailers the fifth wheel that we're looking at, I'm looking at about a 34 to 36 foot RV. That I don't want anything any bigger than that. That's plenty for what we're going to be doing. That's plenty big. And I've been looking a lot at the Grand Design RVs. Now, there's the Reflection and then there's the Solitude. I'm looking at the 337 RLS Reflection. That has a gross vehicle weight rating of right around 13,000 pounds. That means that's the maximum that I can put in that trailer. Okay? The Solitude lines run up to around 16,000, 17,000 pounds. Okay? That's the trailer weight, that's not the truck weight. What you need to look at is the hitch weight, the pin weight of that RV. That's the important calculation because that's the weight that's going to be going on the truck, on the payload of the vehicle. Okay, so let's use the 16,000 pound number, gross vehicle weight rating for the trailer. Let's use that number for a statistic. All right, so if that trailer has a 16,000 pound maximum weight rating, it's got a pin weight of, and they say you take 25% of that, and that'll give you the pin weight. But you can also go to the manufacturer spec sheet, which is what I did. And the manufacturer spec sheet for that trailer says it's got a pin weight of 2,000 pounds. That means the pin weight, what is actually going into the hitch, where the pin of that trailer weighs 2,000 pounds. Okay? So now you reduce that number from your remaining free payload. Remember, we're down to 4,704 pounds. Okay? So another 2,000 pounds from that, that leaves about 2,000 pounds of free payload. Still almost a ton of free payload that I can put into this truck before I reach the max gross vehicle weight rating of this truck. That's phenomenal because every fifth wheel that I've looked at has the fifth wheel ones that we're looking at. The max pin weight is like 2,500 pounds. So that still leaves me, if we use that high end rate of 2,500 pounds, it still leaves me 1,500 pounds of free payload that I can play with and still be fine and still be well underneath my numbers and be safe. And that's the key, is being safe. Because, it's not just about pulling the trailer, it's being able to stop that trailer, if that makes sense to you. I hope you're following me here. Trying to make it easy because all the videos I see, they go with all the numbers and everything. So I'm trying to put a visual perspective there for you to be able to see. So if I get a fifth wheel that has a maximum gross vehicle weight rating of 16,000 pounds, I'm still going to be way underneath my maximum number, and this truck will handle it with no problem. I will have no issues whatsoever starting, towing, or stopping that trailer. That's what you need to be thinking about when you buy a truck or a trailer. Now, in my case, I bought the truck first because I know what truck I wanted. So now I'm going to buy the fifth wheel to pair with the truck. Okay, some people buy the RV and then buy the truck, and to me that's just kind of putting the cart before the horse. So it is what it is. If you already have a fifth wheel, then fine. You know, you still need to know these numbers, and you still need to keep within these numbers, because if you're overloading, if you're going plus, okay, now you also have to understand the axle weight ratings. All right, once I hit that 2,500 pound hitch weight, my axles are rated at 9,500 pounds, well under that number. So I'm safe there. You see what I'm looking at? You have to look at all the numbers all the way around. The tow rating of the vehicle is the least important of any of those numbers. Okay? Because let's say, let's look at that 2,500 that we had, and I'll throw some pictures in here because I don't think I did a video on the 2,500. But so the 2,500 had a gross vehicle weight rating of 10,000 pounds. It had a maximum payload of 2,000 pounds. I think it was like 2,100 pounds, whatever it was. And so if you're looking at those fifth wheels, remember, I said the payload was, the max payload for that truck was 2,000 pounds. The pin weight on the reflection is 2,000 pounds. That eats up that payload. Okay? Then you still have to add me, the wife, the fuel, all that stuff. By the time you do that, you're almost 1,500 pounds over your payload capacity of the truck. So if you're looking at, you know, the bigger fifth wheels, man, you really need to be looking at a 3,500 class truck. And truthfully, you probably need to be looking at a dually. Okay? The reason I say that, now I know there's a lot of trucks out there that are single rear wheel, and you guys will probably chime in, and that's fine. And that's all good. But you have to understand that you've got your payload capacity, and all you have to do is, the biggest thing that you can do is know your gross vehicle weight rating. You've got to know your free payload and your combined vehicle weight rating. That's what you need to know. Now, the other thing that's important to understand is certain states, like the state of Arizona, the state of Arizona says that if any truck and trailer combination is 26,001 pounds, it's considered commercial. And that's, it says right on the back, gross vehicle weight rating 26,001 pounds or more. Okay? So I'm good there, because remember, gross vehicle weight rating of the truck and gross vehicle weight rating of the trailer is 27,000 pounds. I'm over that 26,001 pounds threshold in the state of Arizona. Okay, so that's the other thing you have to be careful of. But now I want to go back to the 2,500. The 2,500, according to the charts, had a tow rating of 17,000, I think it was 17,500 pounds, whatever it was. So 17,100 pounds is your max tow rating. So while it would tow that trailer with no problem, it won't haul it because you're over on your payload capacity, if that makes sense to you. In other words, you are putting more weight on the truck than it's safely allowed to have on it. Well, it'll still tow it because, and it's still right there, because if you're at your max in your trailer, let's say you got a 13,000 pound trailer, okay? Your tow rating is 17,500. You're good there. You're green. Where you turn red is the fact that the pin weight is 2,000 pounds, and that puts you over the payload capacity of the truck. Man, I hope all this makes sense to you. I hope you're understanding what I'm getting at. I hope it all comes, the lights click in your head. You have to know those numbers, because, like I said, just because you're doing it does not mean you're doing it safe. So I see these people, you know, they're in this configuration, this configuration. It's very clear that they're overweight. And while the vehicle will do it, the problem is it's not doing it safely. And if you get in an accident and you're overweight, don't think for 1 minute that your insurance company is gonna cover that. And worse, if you get into an accident and you're overweight and you kill somebody, your insurance company is going to look at you and say, yeah, good luck with that in court. You see what I'm getting at? It's so important that you understand that it's not just a matter of towing down the road. It's a matter of doing it safely. And it's real important for me that I take my wife on the road and that I go out there with confidence, not worried, white knuckle on the steering wheel, worried that I'm going to have an accident, because I know what capacity my truck has. So therefore, I know what trailer that I can safely tow. And I can safely tow any trailer that I want to tow, truthfully, with this truck. No problems, okay? But I'm looking at certain trailers because that's what I want. I know what I want, so I'm looking at those trailers, and the trailers that I want are well within those ranges. So I'll have no problem running down the road pulling those trailers. Guys, I'm going to cut out. I hope this video made sense to you. I hope the light clicks. Don't get all caught up in all the numbers and doing all this mathematics and all, because that just makes your mind confused. Just understand and understand your payload capacity, your gross vehicle weight rating, your axle ratings, and understand the trailer weights and measures. That's all you really have to know. And you don't have to be a mathematical genius to figure out that if you've got a 13,000 pound trailer and a truck that's rated to tow 21,000 pounds, no problem with towing. But if your payload won't hold the weight, then you've got a problem. So you need to look at your payload, you need to look at your towing capacity, you need to look at your axle ratings, and you get your tires. Your tires are important too, the ratings on the tires, because if you're overloading your tires, then chances of having a blowout or a catastrophic failure there also increase. So just understand, and as long as you stay under those gross numbers, you're fine. And the real important thing is, don't get caught. Don't think that don't get a 27,000 pound trailer for a truck that'll pull 27,000 pounds. You need to leave yourself some leeway there too. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Do it smart, do it wise, and stay safe, because the life that your life and somebody else's life may depend on it. Thanks for watching the video.